Rabbi D, anything securing or anything?
Good. Just a cup of water. Cup of cold water.
Chair?
Good morning, Morai Rabotai. Chodesh Tov to everyone. B'ezrat Hashem, Chodesh Slicha v'Rachamim should be a Chodesh of Aliyah. And as I said in the recording yesterday, Amud means a pillar, and the pillar of our relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mainly through Limud Torah Kedosha. So it's really tremendous to have the zchut of learning with such a chashuv olam, packed table of Lomdei Torah. Be'ezrat Hashem should grow together to have a fantastic Elul and even a better Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and a fascinating year to follow. Be'ezrat Hashem, Amen. The Limud of Amud Yomi for Chodesh Elul has been dedicated by Aaron and Charlene Kahen for health and happiness and success of their children, and the Ilui Nishmat Nisan ben Moshe HaKohen, Alav Shalom. Amen. I've been given the rest of them. Sarah Rachel Bat, Nora, and her entire family, that they should have a lot of atzlacha and success and nachat from their child and many more to come. B'ezrat Hashem. Amen. So we are holding by Tanu Rabbanan 16 lines up from Chaf Gimel Amud Bet 23b, 16 lines from the bottom of the Amud. Tanu Rabbanan, Harotze likanes lis'udat keva. We've been studying the halachot of tefillin, of when you have to take it off, when can you hold it on, when can you hold it in your hands, can you enter the bathroom, betakise kavua, betakise arai, lots of those halachot we have been discussing. And says the Gemara, how about if you want to go to a seudah? So prior to that, this is just a quick chazara. The Gemara gives us some gastroenterology ideas of if you want to go to seudah, is not derech eretz that you sit there and after 5 minutes you have to excuse yourself to go to bathroom. It's not derech eretz. So make sure to go to bathroom before. Rambam really learns from this a halakha of health as well. This is not healthy for a person to eat when your stomach is full, when your intestine is full. So go to the bathroom and then sit to eat. So how do you do it if it's not helping? Says the Gemara, you should walk a little bit, sit down and get up, and walk again, sit down and get up, and walk again until you could sit and use the bathroom. 10 rounds of Dalet Amot each time. You go 4 Amot, 6 feet, you sit down, you get up, another 6 feet, sit down, get up, until your intestine starts working and you could use the bathroom. Or you could do it the other way around, 4 rounds of 10 Amot each, and then you could hopefully go to the bathroom, and then you go to sit to eat. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, there's another issue with Seudat Keva. Usually they would have wine in a regular Seudat Keva. When you sat down to eat, it's not snacking, you would have some wine with this food, and there's a chashash, there's a concern that the person is going to become drunk, and then it's not zelo na'im, it's not proper, it's not kavod for the tefillin when the guy that's wearing it is doing all kinds of things, is saying all kinds of things. So therefore, because of that concern, so you know what, take it off before Seudah. After Seudah, if you're still standing, then you put it on before Birkat Hamazon, as the Gemara is going to say. So says the Gemara, there's a slight machloket. When do you exactly take it down? Says the Gemara, you take it off before you enter the Seudah. Rabbi Chia argues with this, says no, you keep it off the minimum amount of time. So you come to the Seudah, to the table, before you start eating, you take it off, you literally put it on the table in front of you. Manichan al shulchano, vechen hadur lo. And that's the proper way of doing it. But Emat says the Gemara, until when you keep it off? Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak atzman bracha. Until the moment that you need to say Birkat Hamazon. Before Birkat Hamazon, you wash your hands, of course, and that's not considered a hefsek between washing my maharonim, washing the last thing, cleaning off your hands from the food, the residue of oil and everything that could be on a person's hand. and then you put on your tefillin before Birkat HaMazon. Says the Gemara, Tani Chada, Sorer Adam Tfilav Im Ma'otav Be'afar Kasto. A person could wrap around his tefillin with his handkerchief, the wrap that they had, that they used for their money as well. V'tanya idach lo yatzur. The other Braita says you cannot put them together with your money. It's not kavod for tefillin to be together. One of them is tashmisheh kedusha. One of them is tashmisheh chol. Of course, tefillin is kodesh and money is chol. You can't put them together. You can't bring tefillin down. Now, the preface to this would be something that's all around Shas you deal with. I'm going to give you a little preface, and then we'll go to read the Gemara. The halacha is, when you make something kadosh, then you no longer could bring it down from its kedusha. Even if both of them are kadosh, one of them is a higher level of kedusha, the other one is a lower level of kedusha. You cannot bring something from a higher level of kedusha to a lower level of kedusha. We discussed this before, even for mezuzah, that the person has on a doorway that is obligated from biblical status to a doorway that is only halachically obligated from Rabbanan, or a doorway that is obligated according to everybody to a doorway that's not obligated according to, for instance, Rambam holds a doorway that doesn't have, this is very relevant because now all the modern houses, they have doorways without a door, right? It's just just an opening without a door. There's no doors, basically. So according to Rambam, a gateway that doesn't have a door is not chayav mezuzah. We don't paskin like Rambam, but there is such a shita. So if you take a mezuzah from your front door, which has a door, or from your bedroom that has a door, and you want to put it on a hallway that doesn't have a door, that would be, according to Rambam, it would be muridin mikdusha. Or for your porch, that could be just the balcony that's small, or closet that's small, that's only midrabanan maybe, so that would be also muridin mikedusha. And here we have by tefillin as well. We had it in the Tafa Halacha, in the Berachot Yomi that we do, that you can't use a strap of tefillin shel rosh to put it on a strap of tefillin shel yad, because the tefillin shel rosh is slightly higher kedusha than tefillin shel yad. So even that is important. Now, what is considered that I already designated this for tefillin? If I made the tefillin, I've never used it before, or I took this handkerchief and I said, I want to put my tefillin in this bag. I never did it before. And then I changed my mind. I say, you know what? I'm actually going to put tefillin and money inside. Is that mutar or asur? So there's a sugya called hazmana. Hazmana, that means I have prepared this for this purpose. I have designated it for this purpose. And if you have a designation, then already it could become holy. Now, there is a machloket within what is considered designation. Abaye, across Shas, all over, and we're going to have Abaye right here as well. Abaye holds hazmana miltahi. If I take this bag, which was never used ever, brand new, and I say, you know what, this is going to be from tomorrow morning my tefillin bag, right? That's it. I've never touched it with tefillin. And then I come home, my wife says, how dare you? I want this to be my purse, whatever, right? That's not a good example. That's a sakanat nefashot already. That's a little different. But I say, imagine you change your mind, right? I don't want to do it anymore. Can you change that? Abaye says, absolutely not. This is not holy. But I haven't touched it if it doesn't matter. Hazmana miltahi. You prepare it, is already your mental status that you said verbally, I want to use this for tefillin, done. It's kadosh. Others disagree, say, no, hazmana lav miltai. Hazmana only works, the designation of this bag only works if you used it once. In other words, you need two things. A, you need to designate it. B, you need to use it at least once. So if tomorrow morning I put on my tefillin inside of it, and then I was like, maybe I could find a better one. Too late. Because you had designation and you had a use one time. So that's the machloket we're going to have. But if you have hazmana, however you slice the hazmana, once you had hazmana, this becomes kadosh. Once it becomes kadosh, can I now put money in it also with the tefillin? No. But before hazmana, if I never designated this for anything, I could put tefillin together with money, no problem. That's going to be the halacha that the Gemara is going to be teaching us. It says the Gemara. So one Braita says you could put tefillin together with money. The other one says you cannot put. It's apparent stira, apparent contradiction. Says the Gemara, no kasha. It's not a question. Hade azmene, hade lo azmene. The Braita that says that you cannot put tefillin together with money and wrap them together in the same bag is when the bag is designated for tefillin. And the other one, the other one is the Braita that says you could put them together is talking about a bag that's not designated for tefillin only, and it is used for both of them. The Amar Rav Chisda, as we have learned that Rav Chisda taught us, Hai Sudara de tefillin, this handkerchief of tefillin, the material that they wrapped their tefillin, it was a bag, it wasn't a bag. What you use for wrapping your tefillin up, the azmeneh lemetzar bet tefillin, that you designated it in order to be used for tefillin. Sar bet tefillin asur lemetzar beh ma'ot. If you once at least used it for tefillin, then asur lemetzar beh pshiti. Then you cannot put any money or any other thing in it. Azmeneh velo sar beh. But if you didn't have one of these two, you need the two. Designation and use. If you had designation without one-time use, or you used it once without designating it for tefillin, either of those two scenarios is mutar next time to put money in it. No problem. You only make this kadosh with two things. A, designation. B, you have to actually use it. So therefore, azmeneh velo sarbe, if you designated it but you didn't use it, or sarbe velo azmeneh, that you used it for tefillin without designating it to be only used for tefillin, shari lemetzar bezuzi. Next time when you use it, it's going to be mutar to put money in it as well. Ul Abaye de Amar, and according to Abaye that across Shas holds, we're 8 lines up, Hasmana miltahi, that designation alone actually works without usage. Then when we say Hasmana, when we say azmeneh, that you designated this, it just means you verbally said, I am going to use this handkerchief, I'm going to use this bag for tefillin. That's it. Ha-azmeneh, afar gavdelo sarbe. So there would give you that if you said that this is designated for tefillin, afar gavdelo sarbe, even though that you never used it actually for tefillin, it would become kadosh. I-azmeneh asir. Once you did hazmana, it's already asur to put money in it. Ilo azmeneh, but if you never designated it, lo, then it's mutar, then it's no problem. So says the Gemara, Ba'mineh Rabbi Yosef, Berachot Rav Nechunya me Rav Yehuda. Rav Yosef, the son of Rav Nechunya, asked from Rav Yehuda, Ma'u she'aniach adam tfilav tachat merashotav. I have a question. We discuss about tefillin when you have to wrap it. We spoke about tefillin when you have to enter the bathroom. How about, you remember how we spoke about the reality of life back then, that you had rats all over the place, you had thieves all over the place, you didn't have Ring doorbell and security, you didn't have people keeping 5 guns and rifles under their bed and pillow. So how do you deal with safeguarding tefillin when you go to sleep? Can I take off my tefillin, wrap them, put it under my pillow? That's the best place, right? Because you come to take it, I'll take you. If I put it on the table in the dining room, maybe someone's going to just open the door, take it. Or maybe rats are going to come and chew at it. You have no security, really. Especially because it's made out of leather. And leather is something that attracts them. It has a smell to it. It has an attraction for those chewing creatures. So it was actually, imagine you put your tefillin on, you come in the morning and you see the corner of it is bitten into. That's it. There goes your tefillin. So can I put it under my bed? That's the question that, again, we laugh at it, but back then was a real question. So says the Gemara, what's the halacha? Can I put my tefillin under my bed, under my pillow? So tachat meraglotav lo kami bayali. I have no question that you shouldn't and you cannot put it under your legs. That's already like pashut. Shenoheg vahen minag bizayon. That's already disgraceful for the kavod of tefillin. Ki kami bayali. The only question I have is tachat merashotav, under my head. Can I put it under my pillow? Now, we're going to discuss what under pillow means. Right? You know, the pillow here is a king size pillow. It could be under your head, it could be not under your head. We got to discuss that in just a moment. What's the halacha? Amar le, Hachi Amar Shmuel. Let me tell you what Shmuel said. Mutar. Afilu ishto imo. Not only it's mutar, but it's mutar even if your wife is with you in the bed. Which means they're together. So says the Gemara, wait a second. Metivi, they asked the question in the Bet Midrash, Lo yaniach adam tfilav tachat meraglotav mipnei shenoeg b'hem min habizayon. The Braita says a person cannot put tefillin under their leg, under the bottom of their bed, under the leg, because that is disgraceful to the kavod of tefillin. Okay, that we could agree. But you could put it under your pillow. The Braita says black on white that if your wife was with you, then asur. If husband and wife are being together in the bed, then it's also disgraceful, even if it's under your pillow, says the Braita. Now, Shmuel is an Amorah. He's an Amorah. This is the Braita. It's a Tanaic word. Can Shmuel argue with the Braita? Usually, no. And Amorah cannot, even though that Shmuel is one of the highest levels of Amoraim, the first generation of Amoraim, but usually an Amorah cannot ever disagree with a Mishnah or with a Braita. So this is like pulling out a bombshell. So the Braita clearly says that when the wife is there, you cannot put it under your pillow. So then the Braita continues. Just let's finish it up and come back to the kasha. But if you have, it's an exception to the rule. If you have a cubby that's 3 tfachim higher than your bed, or behind the bed 3 tfachim lower, and you have a cubby there, you can put it there, and that's fine. So it says the Gemara, Tiyufta de Shmuel, Tiyufta. This is a bomb kasha on Shmuel. Shmuel is standing in direct contrast with the Braita. So we usually throw out Shmuel, throw out whoever is standing in front of the Braita. Amar Rava. Remember Rava over here, okay? Rava says, Afal gav the Tanya Tiyufta de Shmuel. Even though that the Braita is a kasha on Shmuel, Hilcheta kevate. Halacha is like Shmuel. This is very strange, right? So this machloket exactly what the pshat is over here. Talmidei Rabbeinu Yonah in the back of Berachot say, actually Shmuel is disagreeing with the Braita, and the reason that's mutar is like a horaat shah because of the kavod of tefillin, as we learned before, that sometimes like in entering bathroom with the tefillin, you remember it was asur, but we said the halacha is because they saw that it was stolen and it was damaged, it was taken by rats and damaged by creatures or people. They said, you know what? Take it in. Now, halacha is like Bet Hillel, even though that otherwise would have been halacha not like that. But for the extra kavod of the tefillin, we bend the rules for a better good. That's what Talmidei Rabbeinu Yonah say. And but the Perei Yehoshua over here says actually what I gave an example of is the source for Shmuel. In other words, he says Shmuel knows this. Shmuel also knows the Braita. But when Shmuel said that you could do it, is because Shmuel is comparing this with putting the tefillin in your lap or in your hand and taking it inside the bathroom. In other words, Shmuel will tell you, yes, it's not kavod to have it under your pillow when your wife is there. I know that too. Just like it's not kavod to take it in the bathroom. But just like you see, we allowed you as an overriding rule for the kavod of tefillin, in order to safeguard the tefillin, we allow you to disrespect it for a greater good. Here also, we allow you to disrespect it for a greater good, because otherwise it's going to be stolen, it's going to be damaged by rats, and who knows what. So even though that the halacha should be like the Braita, not like Shmuel, but says Rava, halacha lema'aseh, practical halacha mutar. Now you see just in a moment that not only Rava said this, but he actually did it himself. In a moment we'll see that Rava was very much consistent with not just teaching this halacha, but actually doing it himself. So says the Gemara. Afargav, last line. Afargav the Tanya, Tiyufta de Shmuel, even though that the Braita is a Tiyufta, is a Kasha on Shmuel, Amar Rava, Hilchata Kevate. Halacha is, at the end of the day, bottom line, halacha is like Shmuel. My Tama, what's the reason? Says the Gemara, Kol lenaturini utfe adif. The more you could safeguard the tefillin and keep them away from harm's way, the better it is. And where do you put them? When you talk about under your pillow, where under the pillow can you put it? Says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah ben Karla Kesed. You cannot just put it on top of your pillow. It has to be covered. So you put it between your pillow and your mattress. And it cannot be directly under your head. It has to be on the side. If you put your head on it, that's already disrespectful. So says the Gemara, don't you know that we learned in the name of Rabbi Chia that you could put them in the tefillin bag and put it directly under your head? The Gemara says, no. Tachat merashotav does not mean that you put the tefillin tachat merashotav. Doesn't mean that you're putting the actual tefillin under your head. It means you're putting it in a tefillin bag, and the tefillin is on this part of it. And this part of the bag you put under your pillow. This way you make sure no one could pull it out to steal it, or no creature could be pulling on it. You will wake up, you will know. That's what it means that you put the bag under your head, not the actual part that is holding the tefillin inside. Says the Gemara. The makpiklah, the morasha, the kova, the bar. The part that's holding the tefillin, you actually put on the outside, not under your head, but under pillow, shelo keneged rosho. Under pillow, not directly underneath your head. Says the Gemara, bar kapara sayir lehu bekilta umafik lemorashehon levar. He also would do, they had draperies around their beds. He would wrap it on the bottom part of the drape, and he would put it underneath the head when the actual part of the tefillin was sticking out, not directly under his head. Rav Shaisha bret Rav Idi, Rav Shaisha, the son of Rav Idi, would do another chap. He would do manach lehu ashar shifa upari sudara ilavayhu. He would actually put it on a small bench that was right next to his bed, and he would wrap it, he would cover it with another cover. So we have, as we learned in the Shulchan Aruch, you need to have two covers. If you are with your wife and tefillin is in the room, he has to have two covers, one of which is not designated for tefillin. So he had the tefillin bag, he would put it there, and then he would put a cover on top of it as well. This way he has two covers, one of them not designated, and that would be the way he dealt with it. Rav Shaisha b'red Rav Idi. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Hamnuna b'red Rav Yosef. Rav Hamnuna, the son of Rav Yosef, said, Zibna Chada, I was once hanging out with Rava, my Rebbe. Havaka mina kabed Rava. I was standing next to Rava. Ve'amar li zil aitili tefillin. He told me, you know what? Go to my bedroom and take my tefillin. He tasked me with going and bringing his tefillin. Ve'ashkachtinu ben karla kesed. And I went and I found them to be under his pillow, between the pillow and the mattress, shelo keneged rosho, on the side, not where his head would be going. Well, so that's one halakha that he taught me. You see, Chachamim used to be very personal with their students and teach them the most intimate of the things through stories in a way that was sanua, but at the same time, it would be a life lesson of halakha for them. So he sends him there to learn this one halacha, but really the main reason he sent him was for the next line of the Gemara. The Gemara says, and I knew that the night before his wife had gone to tefillah. So somebody showed him say, wait a second. Usually the halacha is, in Gemara Masechet Nida, you're not supposed to put on your Facebook account when your wife is going to mikveh, right? That's not, you usually hide it, right? You usually hide it. So how did he know? So they say, because they were makpid on Tfilat Ezra. And he saw that his Rebbe in the morning was looking to go to mikveh. So he knew that he perhaps had relations last night before. And the Rebbe also knew that he knew. And therefore, he sent him to teach him this halacha in the morning. That even though that Rabbi was the one that said, even though that halacha of the Braita stands in contrast with Shmuel, still halacha is like Shmuel. You remember that last line over here? Rabbi was the one that said halacha is like Shmuel, bottom line halacha. And this is how he taught it to his Talmidim. He said, go, take my tefillin. He goes there, and he sees the tefillin is underneath his pillow, and he says, oh. So even though that his wife was there, tefillin was there last night, showing that halacha is like Shmuel, not like the Braita that seemingly stands in contrast with Shmuel. And he says, I know that Rava did this, not because he couldn't go get his tefillin. He knew that I knew. And he knew that I'm going to learn this halacha. Therefore, he wanted to give me a life lesson of halacha. The halacha is like Shmuel. Good luck finding a rabbi like that nowadays, right? It will be, again, they were so close and so vulnerable and open in order to teach Torah. They were willing to bring themselves lower in order to pass the torch to Mesorah of Torah in the best of the tzanua ways to their children, to students. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Yosef Red Rav Nechunya Rav Yehuda. Yes, Rabbi Yehuda. שניים שישנים במיטה אחת, מהו שזה יחסיר פניו ויקרא קריאת שמע, וזה יחסיר פניו ויקרא קריאת שמע. Now, how about, this is a little complex, I'm going to make it easy, okay? How about, we're going to start it, we're not going to have time to finish this. How about if two people are sleeping and they want to say Kriyat Shema? In other words, now we are off the sugya of tefillin for just a moment. We spoke about a husband and wife being in the same bed. Now we say, okay, wait a second. Can they say Shema while being in the same bed? Not just the husband and wife, but even two regular people. Let's say a father and a son. Now, you have to understand a few things for understanding this. A, there was no concept of California king-size bed back in the day. Not even a queen size. Their beds were small, right? Probably something of like a twin size or smaller, and people would sleep on it, right? It's like, the Froome families, the wife goes to sleep in a bed alone and wakes up with 6 kids on top of the bed together. It's like, that's how it worked. And people had a lot of kids, and the kids would come in the bed, and, beds were smaller. So your bodies are touching. A, the beds are small, and the bodies are touching because they had no pajamas. They would go under the blanket. They would take their clothing off, put it next to them. In the morning, they would wake up, and under the blanket, like the Shcharuch says in Siman Bet, they would get dressed and then get up and go. No pajamas. They were naked underneath the cover. So you're there together with your wife or with somebody else, with your son. Can you say Shema under the cover? That's the halacha. That's the question. Or do we say, well, your erva is touching his erva, it's asur, it's hirhur. What kind of scenario is that for saying Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad? Or maybe we say, well, no problem, turn around, and even if your backs are touching, still would be mutar to do it. Is it mutar or is it not mutar? That's the question, right? We said you cannot be aparkadan, but you could be on your side, as the Gemara said. And Rabbi Yochanan would do that, right? Even slightly less than that, because he was bigger. So says the Gemara, Amar le, Hachi Amar Shmuel. Another halacha in the name of Shmuel. Says the Gemara, you could do it. Amar Shmuel va'afilu ishto imo. Not only you could do it if other people are laying next to you in the bed, your kids, whatever it is, your boy, your girl is next to you, but you could even do it if your wife is with you. So it says the Gemara, Matkifla Rav Yosef, ishto v'lo mibaya aher. You want to say that your wife is better, is worse than other people? That means there would be a scenario that other people would be mutar and your wife wouldn't be. It's exactly the opposite. Your wife you're used to, you don't have much of hirhur. You don't have much of your mind does not wander to wild places. So therefore, it should be easier to allow to say Shema when your wife is next to you than when another person is next to you. That becomes the machloket, which Be'ezrat Hashem, tomorrow morning, we're going to continue. It's going to be a fascinating Gemara tomorrow, Be'ezrat Hashem. Amen. K'ni ratzon.